Hey, there we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. This is our Hump Day show, I think. This is Wednesday, right? No, I know. No, it's Tuesday. I don't know. I know. But this is our Wednesday show. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Hope you get out there, have some consensual copulation, and that it turns out well for you. So, guys, big going ons in the world. The president of the United States, the former president of the United States, number 45, Donald Trump, has been indicted again. Who didn't see that coming? Good God, man. Could these guys be more afraid of this dude? Like, oh my God, he's gonna run for president. We gotta stop. Well, don't let me put words in their mouth. Let's hear them say it, shall we? Let me make sure I have the right one. Here we go. Tell us about it, Biden. He's being asked what he'll do to keep Trump from being elected.
Who is about to launch another campaign. So how do you reassure them if that is the reason for their questioning, that the former president will not return, or that his political movement, which is still very strong, will not once again take power in the United States?
Well, that is a weird question to even be asking. How will you make sure that guy doesn't retake power? Well, the answer here, Joe, is, hey, we're a democracy. We love democracy. We talk about democracy all the time. Democracy. That's not what he says.
Well, we just have to demonstrate that he will not take power.
But we will have to demonstrate he won't take power. Now, we played this clip before. It just seemed apt to show it again today. Thank you, tall person. Hey, happy Spider-Man Day. Oh, awesome. With great power comes great responsibility, and dead parents and dead uncles and dead girlfriends and pacts with the devil. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. And it's Spider-Man Day. I like that. Munchkin, if you're listening, make sure you let the baby know.
Why, if he does run, making sure he under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again.
How about we beat him at the polls? How about we'll beat him at the polls? That would be the way to. This is how we're going to make sure he doesn't take power. We're going to beat him in the election. We're going to run a better campaign than him. We're going to present better ID. I'm going to stop playing. I mean, yeah, we're gonna do everything we can. I mean, legitimately, wink, wink, to make sure he don't take power again. I don't know why I gave him a Southern accent. Maybe because the Southern accent just really does sound dumber, and it feels like he should have one. So they indicted him again. Third indictment from Mr. Jack. Well, it's the second indictment, but the third edition. Okay, so he gets indicted originally, and then Mr. Jack Smith adds another couple of charges to the original indictment, and now we have this second indictment from Smith. And then, of course, we have the one in New York for a total of 3. And yeah, I read part of the indictment. I couldn't finish reading it. I just couldn't. It was stupid. You guys want to see it? Should we bring it up on the screen and actually take a look at what the indictment itself says? Where is my indictment? There it is. Here we go. In the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, United States of America versus Donald J. Trump, the defendant. Here are his 4 counts. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. That one alone should tell you that this is not a serious indictment. Thank you, Alan, who says, hello, monkey. Hello, sir. Hope you're well. Conspiracy to defraud. This is under 18 USC something 371. I went and looked it up earlier. It's mentioned. Oh, yeah, right there. I had my eyes closed. I wasn't actually reading that. Can't believe my brain let me remember it. Holy crap. Now the rest of the show is going to be off because I remembered something. Damn. But yes, they're stretching this definition of fraud They're claiming that because he tried to steal the election without saying he tried to steal the election. He's not charged with sedition. He is not charged with a coup. He's not charged with treason. None of these things. No. Just to defraud the United States. Next up, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. I mean, we can get to that in a moment, but you have to prove that he actually tried to stop the thing from happening in an illegal way. Mighty Balzac, thank you. F in the chat. Voyager is FUBAR. Oh, the original Voyager? If you're talking about Star Trek Voyager, that was FUBAR from the start. So I'm guessing you're talking about the probe. Number 3, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding. Number 4, conspiracy against rights. In this case, and I'm not making this up, they argue that by trying to overturn the election, Trump was trying to make people's vote not count, and that violated their rights. I wish I was making this shit up. Good God Almighty. There's not a lot to. I'll throw this in the chat for anybody who wants to read this silly shit. But it boils down to the same stuff we've talked about over and over and over again. But I do want to read this first part. Where is it? Here, number 3. The defendant had a right, like every American, to speak publicly about the election and to even claim falsely, to claim falsely. He's allowed to say it falsely. That there had been outcome determinative fraud during the election and that he won. He was also entitled to formally challenge the results of the election. God bless. Why does my brain keep trying to guess words instead of just reading them? I'm telling y'all, I'm dyslexic. I have issues. Let's try that again. That there had even been outcome determinative fraud. Fuck, I said it right the first time and screwed it up the second. During the election and that he won. He was also entitled to formally challenge the results of the election through lawful and appropriate means, such as by seeking recounts or audits of the popular vote in states or filing son of a bitch. It's going to be that kind of night. I told you guys I remembered something and now the night's all thrown off. Filing lawsuits challenging ballots. Indeed, in many cases, the defendant did pursue these methods of contesting the election results. His efforts to change the outcome in any state through recounts, audits, or legal challenges were uniformly unsuccessful. Yeah, you really should bring up Pennsylvania, though. That Pennsylvania, they really should have thrown out a whole bunch of ballots because what was done there was illegal. That was determined, unfortunately, way after it mattered because of corrupt people in the state of Pennsylvania, including their Supreme Court. But don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. But it says it right there. He had the right, like you and I both do, to get up there and say that election was stolen from him. It's his right to say that. And unless you can prove he didn't really believe it, then you don't really have him on fraud. Sorry, you just don't. For fraud, you have to know that what you're saying is bullshit. To be fraudulent, you were lying to people about the truth. And they basically say that over and over throughout. He lied to people. He made them believe that Mike Pence could stop the election. One, not everybody agreed with that, including Mike Pence himself. But it is a legal argument, and it's since been kind of shorn up through the legislative process. Whether that stands up to legal scrutiny, we'll see eventually, I'm sure. But you're allowed to have wrong opinions. You really are. And this is basically saying Donald Trump thought wrong. they do point out that he's got 6 unnamed co-conspirators. 6 unnamed co-conspirators. Now, co-conspirator number 1 is quite clearly Rudy Giuliani. But let me ask you guys this, right? These are co-conspirators in this case that they just had to bring against Donald Trump right now. How come none of these co-conspirators, some of which went much further than anything Donald Trump ever said, went much further than anything Trump ever did? How come none of them are named co-conspirators? How come none of them are indicted right now for this? Well, because this is only about getting Donald Trump, of course. But co-conspirator number 1, an attorney who was willing to spread knowingly false claims and pursue strategies that the defendant's 2020 re-election campaign attorneys would not. So that is either Sidney Powell or Rudy Giuliani. Conspirator number 2, an attorney who devised and attempted to implement a strategy to leverage the vice president's ceremonial role overseeing the certification process to obstruct the certification of the presidential election. I forget this attorney's name. We know him. We've talked about him. He's the one that came up with the theory that the vice president can say no. Vice president can say no. These results are not right. Oh fuck! What is his name? I wish I could remember it. But again, there's nothing wrong with having that opinion. Legal opinions are that they go and they argue them in front of courts. You can even give bad advice as long as you're not doing it, illegally. You can have a different interpretation of what other people did. Let me give you an example here, Mr. Smith. You might have heard about this last year. There was this case called Dobbs that came before the Supreme Court. And in this case, one side was arguing that the federal government has no business having any say in abortion and that Roe v. Wade was a bullshit decision. The other side was saying, no, we want to kill more kids. Now, for almost 50 years in the United States, the legal opinion was, yes, you can kill kids. But on that fateful day came a new ruling, a new opinion, sir, if you will, that said, nah, it's none of our business. The states get to decide how many kids you can kill. I'm just throwing that out there. It's almost like, and I'm just going to say this, that lawyers have opinions that they argue in court over, U.S. laws. I don't know. Co-conspirator number 3, an attorney whose unfounded claims of election fraud the defendant privately acknowledged to others sounded, quote, crazy. Nonetheless, the defendant embraced and publicly amplified co-conspirator 3's disinformation. I think this one is probably Powell. We don't know because they're unnamed. But she had some kind of weird ones out there. Now, once again, you have to prove that, one, Donald Trump actually said this, but acknowledge to others sounded crazy. Sounds like that. Someone else. Chrissy, thank you so very much. Good evening, Monkey. Glad I finally caught your show live. I'm glad you did too. Welcome. Enjoy the chat. These guys are great. Conspirator number 4, a Justice Department official who worked on civil matters and who, with the defendant, attempted to use his Justice Department to open sham election crime investigations and influence state legislatures with knowingly false claims of election fraud. I should know this guy's name too, and I don't remember. Yeah, and again, it's another one. You have to prove they were lying. You have to prove they knew that what they were saying was materially false. Co-conspirator number 5, an attorney who assisted in devising and attempting to implement a plan to submit fraudulent slate of presidential electors to obstruct certification proceedings. I'll be honest with you, I don't know which one that one is. And finally, co-conspirator number 6, a political consultant who helped implement a plan to submit fraudulent slates of presidential electors to obstruct the certification proceeding. Now, here's the thing. Unless those electors were actually presented to Congress, I'm not quite sure how you claim that getting an alternative group of electors together. These are the people, the Electoral College. They're like, okay, I'm casting my vote for X. The electors there in the Electoral College, they had a separate slate of them. They were like, we don't think that's right. We have these ones. Well, unless they were ever officially presented, I don't see how it's a crime. I don't think it's illegal to get together and have a mock vote, basically. Am I wrong on that? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, there's the 6 co-conspirators. And the closest they come to Trump knowingly spreading false information, at least in this list here, is that he said one of the person's ideas sounded crazy. Acknowledged to others it sounded crazy. All right, I'm just going to throw this out there too. Sometimes an idea sounds crazy and it still works. I'm just going to throw that out there. Sometimes, if you guys ever watch me play video games, you know, like I got a plan, and the plan might sound dumb as shit, but it works. Yeah, other people, you know, like, I don't think this is a good plan, but it still works out. Not that this is a video game, just sometimes, you know, people might think you're crazy and shit still works out. But yeah, Jack Smith has decided. I mean, yesterday we had the testimony of Devin Archer. This certainly has nothing to do with this. He did not drop this right after the testimony of Devin Archer to change the news cycle. Absolutely did not. Absolutely did not. This was planned months in advance. I don't fucking know. I don't know how you justify that. Mr. Smith has a habit. He's getting quite the habit of indicting Trump or adding to Trump's indictments right after bad news for the Democrats. It's really weird how it happens. I don't know. The other day when we got the updated indictment of the original indictment, that happens right after Hunter Biden rejects his sweetheart plea deal that he got, where the judge is like, does this say what I think it says? And they had to go, oh, no, not guilty. Yeah. That got the whole news cycle gets changed because Jack Smith drops new charges. Interesting, ain't it? Why are they so afraid of Trump? I mean, I know why they're so afraid of Trump. Because all the polls say Trump will beat Biden right now. Polls said Trump would beat Biden like 6 months into Biden's administration. And especially once the whole laptop stuff came out, I don't think the Democrats have really paid attention to how much that hurt them. Not necessarily because people have actually read about the laptop or put as much time and energy into it as we have around here, but because they were lied to. And polls showed a whole bunch of them were like, yeah, I wouldn't have voted for Biden if I knew this. So I think they're in a much worse off spot than even they think they are. But they don't think they can beat Donald Trump. They right now can't beat Donald Trump. Beat DeSantis. I know there's a lot of people, and if you look at some polls, oh, DeSantis could. If all Republicans got behind DeSantis, I think DeSantis would also win. And it's not on the strength of DeSantis, it's on the weakness of Biden. And so they really want to take out their major competition. But here's the problem. Donald Trump, you're going to have to put him in jail. You can't just keep throwing charges at him. You're going to have to jail him. And if you do that, all that's going to do is reinforce those of us who believe that this is just a political witch hunt and that you're only doing it to keep from having to run against him. And that'll blow up in your faces too. The original charges that Jack Smith brings down, they actually have to use the terminology. He gets creative with the law. Prosecutors aren't supposed to get creative with the law. They're supposed to follow the law. It's all the same thing with all this bullshit. Oh, he gets creative with the law. That's how he gets stuff done. He gets creative. Parents don't know means their parents failed them. That seems like that's not from today. Did this not update? Shit. Hello? Hello? What? Damn it. Oh my God. Am I back? Sorry, I just had to switch to my big satellite because neither of the other two seem to be working at the moment. Fuck. Yeah, it just died. Just died. In the middle of a good rant, my fucking thing just died. So let me go back to basically what I was saying. Because I don't know where I get cut off. Sorry about that, guys. They have all of these people getting creative with the law. Alvin Bragg, Jack Smith, we're getting creative with the law. Take, for instance, the defrauding the United States. Defrauding the United States is supposed to be for people who mishandle their contracts, people who scam welfare. It's not supposed to be for somebody who has an opinion you don't fucking like. That's all. And it shouldn't be that difficult to explain that to people. All you're doing is making Trump a bigger personality than he was, proving over and over that you're just afraid to face him at the polls. Trump does not get indicted, not at all, if he doesn't run for president. There's going to be another indictment coming down soon, guys. The Fulton County prosecutor down there in Georgia announced that she had wrapped up her investigation. I think that was yesterday. Didn't seem to get much coverage, at least not in the news that I was looking at. But it did get slipped in there. And yeah, everybody's expecting another indictment from there. And we'll see what happens there with how creative they have to get. When you're telling me you have to get creative with the law to prosecute somebody, all you're telling me is you don't actually have them on anything. Oh, what about they got creative with Al Capone? Yeah, that was kind of bullshit, honestly. But we got it. Sure, I guess you got the bad guy off the street, but all you did was abuse the law. We shouldn't be abusing the law to get people thrown in jail that we don't like, especially when it's just for fucking political reasons, which this 100% is. This is if this shit was happening in any other country, we'd be like, look at this banana republic bullshit. And now that it's happening here, is like, we're preserving democracy by making sure he can't run. We're going to make sure he can't run for president. Oh, and Jack Smith is trying really hard to get his first case into court by the end of the year. Hey, Jack, what do you think is going to happen if Trump wins that case? How do you think that's going to go for what won you? The deep state will make you diss a fucking peer. You're going to go bye-bye. Suddenly it'll be like, wait, wasn't there a Jack Smith? And they'll go, no, look, this picture where this wife is hugging this invisible person, that nobody ever existed in that. They will kill you, Jack. You're going to go bye-bye. But you're also, and it's because you will make sure, you will guarantee a Trump victory. Now, I bring that stuff up specifically because I wanted to share this clip again.
Statement, latest tweet, as you were just saying, the President-elect's latest
Yeah.
unsolicited pronouncement on the intelligence community. This was his tweet just a little while ago tonight. You see the scare quotes there. The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking.
I love that she calls it scare quotes. Those are sarcastic quotes, sweetie. Sarcastic quotes.
Was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. We're actually told, intelligence sources tell NBC News since this tweet has been posted, that actually this intelligence briefing for the president-elect was always planned for Friday. It hasn't been delayed. But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So,
yeah, if only, I don't know, there was a body or two that had oversight over those guys to keep them from politically retaliating against folks. I don't know. We should probably look into that. We should look into getting a body, maybe 2, just to be safe. The House and Senate aren't doing much. Maybe we can get them to do it. That are supposed to oversee these guys and make sure they're not doing shit like that. If only the leader of the Senate, as Schumer was here, got up on the Senate floor and went, we're not putting up with intelligence agencies abusing their power to the point where I'm going on national television and saying that the president of the United States should be scared of them. If only. What a world it would be. What a world it would be.
even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know,
to?
but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
Senate Leader Harry Reid. He's again Senate Leader right now, guys. So, fuck. Yeah. You know, I don't like to be a conspiracy theorist. I like jumping into conspiracy theorism just for fun. Dip my toes a little bit. But this was when Donald Trump was president-elect. President-elect. We know without a shadow of a doubt that there were FBI assets. We won't say agents because they've yet to admit it was agents, but FBI assets there on January 6th. It's not even a question. I wonder what the intelligence community might be doing. Evolved Potato, thank you. No, that's what I was doing when I realized that the stream had cut out. Evolved Potato, thanks so much for the donation there. Here's a crazy idea. Strap explosive to yourself so you can travel to a place nothing can live in. Oh, wait, that's called a rocket ship, and we've been using them for decades. Oh, yeah. Don't go with them crazy ideas. You get indicted for that shit. What'd they call it in the movie Armageddon? The Road Runner slingshot maneuver. Crazy, right? Yeah, so I don't want to be the conspiracy theorist. I don't. But it's really hard for me to look at everything that's happened. And again, this was before Trump was president. That fucking gargoyle talking to Miss Maddow here, that was before he had even been sworn in. And this guy's warning him, hey, you're being reckless. You're being reckless out there. They're going to get you. 6 ways to Sunday, damn it. And nobody said boo. Rachel, what are they going to do? She didn't go, oh my God, you think the intelligence community is that fucking powerful that they're going to in some way punish a sitting president for this? For having an opinion? No, she just went around with it. She's like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. And then you look at what happened over and over and over again throughout his presidency. People seemingly working against this guy. Him putting people in positions of power. I saw DeSantis folks, we'll get to this shit later, but some DeSantis folks going, look, what it comes down to is that Trump kept putting bad people in power. They might have been bad people, but he's the one who put them there. Yeah, but who gave him those names? We talked about this with Donald Trump because him being an outsider, he doesn't know all of the people involved. He had to take recommendations from, oh yeah, the Republicans who are in the establishment. The Republicans in the establishment who also know you don't go against those guys in the deep state. You don't go against those glowy motherfuckers because they'll come for you. Something will pop up on you. Suddenly you're in prison for shit they knew about for 30 years and finally decided to hold you accountable for. So, sorry, all you're showing me with this indictment is that we live in a fucking banana republic. We live in a place where democracy doesn't mean shit. They don't give a shit about it. They talk a good game about that democracy shit, don't they? Democracy, democracy, democracy. What the people want. Well, the people want Trump to run for president. Right now, more than 50% of Republicans in all polls, more than 50% are saying Trump. Do I think that's the right choice? I don't fucking know. I got to be honest, as I look at the field, I'm not impressed. But Trump is a special case. Trump is a special case because he is a former president. And if I remember correctly, we've only ever elected a former president one time. But he's a former president, and it's not just that. He's a former president who a lot of people think got cheated out of his rightful second term. You're not going to overcome that. That's one of DeSantis's biggest problems, is that he's got to overcome a lot of people who think this is his rightful place in the first place. So, yeah, Biden, you're not doing yourself any favors here. You should be coming out and go, no, 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 no. I disagree with this. The election's going on. We're not looking at anything like it's not like he murdered somebody. Except for those, what how many officers did they decide died on January 6th, even though none of them did? Is it up to 6 or is it still only 5? I don't remember. Did you see Pence's tweet? Yes, I saw it. And just like Pence, the little bitch backed out. He fucking backed down. Let me bring that up. Because he comes out swinging, y'all. Oh, no. God bless. I was busy on Twitter today. Did I get blocked by that guy? Oh, I did. I probably shouldn't have told him that what he wrote was the dumbest shit I read all day. It was true, though. It was true. Shit, where is this? I can't find it. Okay, let me go look up Mike Pence. God damn it. I don't want to look up Mike Pence. It'll end up on my fucking timeline. Here it is. All right. Today's indictment serves as an important reminder. Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. Don't read ahead. That's him coming out swinging. Trump shouldn't be president of the United States. That's what the indictment shows. Today's indictment serves as an important reminder. That's him saying Trump shouldn't be president. But then the little bastard, as he does, little wishy-washy piece of shit. I will have more to say about the government's case after reviewing the indictment. The former president is entitled to the presumption of innocence. But with this indictment, his candidacy means more talk about January 6th and more distractions. Back up there, homie. Now you're like, I mean, he could be innocent. He could be innocent. But I mean, it's going to make people talk about January 6th, and that's a distraction. A minute ago, you were like, that it shows that you shouldn't be president. This indictment, not a conviction, this indictment shows you shouldn't be president. You know, Mike, you are I don't use this term very often, but you are a disloyal twat. I don't use the word disloyal very often because I think the whole notion of loyalty is kind of perverted in our society. Some people are loyal beyond reasonability, you know. But in this case, Mikey, you're a disloyal, wishy-washy piece of shit. Make up your mind about what it actually tells us too. Is it that it's going to be too much talk about January 6th? Or is it that, you know, if you've been indicted, you can't be president? I'd really like to know, Mikey. You fucking douchebag. What a disappointment he's turned out to be. I don't even care about the whole election thing. I don't believe that Mike Pence had the authority to be like, yeah, no, those electors. I don't think that was within his. I understand the argument. I just don't personally believe that that was within his scope of power. And I don't think that that was a disloyal either. I don't think him running for president is disloyal. I've seen a lot of people accuse folks who are running for president of being disloyal because they didn't just let Trump have it. That's not how our system should work in the first place. That's what I mean about, you know, misplaced sense of loyalty. But this shit, not a fucking conviction, but the indictment reminds us that if you put yourself ahead, then you shouldn't be president. An indictment just means you're accused of something. And in this case, you're accused of something by a fucking piece of shit who was too cowardly to bring the charges himself and did it through a grand jury. So he could go, what? I didn't do it. I didn't do it. The grand jury did it. I didn't do it. I didn't do nothing. He didn't come forward as a special prosecutor and recommend charges be brought to the Justice Department. Oh, no, it was the grand jury. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Piece of shit. Anyhow, I'm not a big fan of grand juries, if you can't tell. These prosecutors should have to put their names on this shit. Not be like, well, look, yeah, we brought this completely bogus charge, but I mean, the grand jury said, what this should remind you of is that a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. That's an old saying. Because it's true. You can get a grand jury to believe whatever you want because the defense has no defense in a grand jury. It's just the prosecutor going, I want to go to court over this shit. And so the grand jury's like, I want to go back to my life. Fuck it. Yeah, he did all that. We'll check 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, fuck it. We'll say he defrauded the government. Fucking shitbags. Anyhow, let's move along. I cannot believe how fucking afraid they are of this. Now, I haven't looked into this. We're going to be talking about this next one in hypotheticals. This is Governor Kevin Stitt. I was proud to sign an executive order establishing a women's Bill of Rights here in Oklahoma. We're doing everything we can to safeguard women's spaces. Thank you to my friend Riley Gaines for your presence and advocacy. All right, I know who Riley Gaines is, so I can guess what this is about. Riley Gaines is the swimmer who tied with penis having Leah Thomas. Remember that? And she's come out against, hey, women, their sports being fucked up. I get the idea behind it. I get the desire, but we shouldn't have separate bills of rights for people. Bills of rights should not be based on sex, color, creed, religion, none of that shit. We should all have the same rights. It shouldn't matter. If you want to do this, what you should be doing is going through the legislature and being like, no, penis havers cannot be in women's sports. And instead, you sign this executive order thing, and no, there should not be. Maybe it's just the wording, but it's putting me off. The Bill of Rights. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Not even a little bit. Riley Gaines was kidnapped by a bunch of lunatic leftists. Absolutely. Absolutely she was. But don't worry, it was only for a few hours. She wasn't harmed. That's literally what the the defenders of this shit say. She wasn't harmed. It's not a big deal. Should pay no attention to the fact that, yeah, it was kidnapping, and a lot of those people should have been arrested and thrown in jail. I like Riley Gaines. She has a small face for the size of her head, but when it comes to what she's talking about, I believe that women should have their own sports. We have a whole thing about it. Title IX. I know these days it's used to persecute men in college for rapes that didn't happen, but the whole notion was so that girls had equal access to sports with boys, and not just sports, but activities. And now it's like, nah, let the guy with the dick swim with the girls. Random question. How do you feel about John Dial? Thank you, Toasted. I don't know who John Dial is. No idea. That name doesn't make any bells in my head go off. Leah Thomas, a three-leg swimmer. Yes, absolutely. We might eventually get to it in my tweets, but one of the girls who was on that team said that they had nightmares for weeks after having to change in the same locker room with Leah Thomas. And all I could think was, how nasty is his crotch? I mean, I understand that she had to change with a boy, and that was probably a little bit, but like nightmares and shit because there was a dick floating around. Did he wiggle it at you? How fucking gross is that dude's crotch that the women are like, I can't even, I'm gonna cry for a week. I don't mean to make light of it, because I don't think that fucking dude should be in there in the first fucking place. But don't be over dramatic either. Jesus, I saw penis. It destroyed me. And even if you're a lesbian, you should be okay with that. I'm just saying. Not okay with it happening, but not needing fucking therapy over it. Lots of women have seen penises, and they're just okay. I don't want to say they're just fine because they are still women, but they're all right. Leah, throwing that out there. I was so traumatized. Thank you, Travis Gardner, over there on the Streamlabs. Guys, brought to you by you. Hit the like button, the share button. If you would, please consider donating to the channel. Supporting us financially really does help us out. If you can't, don't worry about it. They're always appreciated, never expected. Travis Gardner, thank you. Kevin Stitt is a horrible governor. He is suing his own AG because the AG will not let him sue the House leadership for overriding his veto. Wow. So he doesn't understand how his government works, huh? I'm guessing they did the legal override of his veto, and he's trying to sue them over that. I have to look into it. That's a whole mess of worms that I'm not prepared to get into. Retro V Gamer, thank you so very much for the gifted sub going out to Spoonie. I appreciate it, dude. That's awesome. Guys, don't forget, you can also channel member. Good way to show support to the channel, and you get the nifty little green name. Sorry, man, John Doyle. Still don't know who that is. But thank you, Toasted. Hang on. I'm just going to do a quick search and see if the John Doyle. Yeah, none of this looks familiar to me. So it's something I'll have to look up and get back to you on, because I have no idea who that is. Do I want to talk about this shit again? I kind of do. We're not gonna actually watch it, but we talked. Thank you, Travis Gardner, says I will DM you the stuff later. Appreciate it, bud. XQC, maybe it was yesterday, day before, I forget which one. This guy is basically Hassan Piker. He sits on his stream and he watches other people's hard work. Sometimes. This is the guy who used the phrase, I watch it to my audience. I watch it to my audience. He's a YouTuber. Oh, I definitely don't know the name John Doyle. Well, this guy who made this video that XQC decided to watch to his audience. He puts together this 1 minute clip here showing XQC watching the video. Now, we're not going to watch much of it. We don't have to.
What you're looking at is considered the most densely populated place that ever existed. On an area of just 6.5 acres, or 4 football fields, dozens of individual buildings have merged into...
All right. So this guy has put together clearly a video that took a lot of work. There's 3D animation in this fucking video. This little piece of shit gets up and leaves. Gets up and leaves for 10 fucking minutes. Doesn't come back for 10 minutes. And when he does come back, you know what he does? He mocks the idea of people giving him shit for stealing people's content. He mocks it. Oh, don't put this clip on YouTube, he says. This guy's a piece of shit. He's a thief. He's a fucking thief. And he's got $100 million deal going with, what is it? Is it Kick? Guy's a goddamn thief. I do not like thieves. I don't like liars. I don't like thieves. Got into an argument with one of his little fanboys, too. Was like, you obviously don't know. He talks all throughout the videos. I'm like, there's a video showing him right there, gone for 10 minutes. How the fuck? He even said this. He pauses every minute. How the fuck he pausing every minute when he's gone for 10? That's literally impossible. Johnny Hellcat, thank you. To be fair, it is his chair. Hassan only sometimes joins. I guess. Fuck, man. Don't support shitty people. Look, you can not support me all you want. Just don't support shitty people. If you're like, oh, monkey, you bore me, that's fine. But you'll never be able to say, I'm not doing my own content. Somebody asked me, because I responded to that and said, I actually like reactors, but this guy's a lazy fucking thief. And I was asked, well, what do you mean by actual reactions? It's like, well, people who discuss what's going on in the video and only show as much as they need. Do you remember watching the Candace Owens clip the other day? The 3-hour stream with that fucking bald-headed retard? We didn't watch the whole stream. We jumped around to parts that I found to be worthy of my commentary. The rest of it I threw for you guys. Hey, go watch it if you want to know. Because I don't believe in stealing people's content, and I believe that fair use should be the standard. I don't believe I should be able to just turn that shit on for 10 minutes and walk away and leave it for you guys to watch. That's stealing. Did you know XQC is a French Canadian? I didn't know what the fuck he is. I know he's got a weird accent. And that I don't understand how people watch him because I can't understand what he's saying half the fucking time. But yeah, fuck that asshole. Oh, there's the Pence one I was looking for just a little bit ago. Oh, you know what? Let's do this real fast. A couple of not programming notes, just notes in general. Our good friend, your boy Pat, his brother died. So if you see Pat, give him your best, and if you don't, at least have him in your thoughts. Prayers if you have him. Pat's a great guy, and I can't imagine. I don't want to personally. I lost my brother when I was much, much younger, and I still have one alive, and I don't know what I'd do without him. So, Pat, my friend, I love you, and I'm sorry you're going through it, my friend. Sorry you're going through it. In other news, Mr. Medicare dropped some updates about his health, and he had a massive fucking heart attack. His cancer is as bad as it ever was, and he had a massive fucking heart attack. So, wishing him all the best. Here's wishing for a miracle cure for you. And, yeah. What a day, right? What a day. Moving right along, let's get back into some other stuff. What was it this guy said? Oh, so this guy puts out a tweet. I can't read it anymore because I said it was the stupidest shit I read all day and he got offended. But in regard to the indictment, he goes, putting the criminal matter aside, And then he goes on about how this shows Trump is an asshole. I'm like, wait. And I wasn't the only one. I don't want to take all the credit for that, but many of us were like, wait, how do you put it's almost the Mike Pence thing, you know? Like, hey, he's got the presumption of innocence, but look how bad this is going to be. It's going to make everybody talk. Like, oh, I fucking hate you people. Did anyone let these people? Oh, you know what? Yeah, will somebody let Jim know that Biden cured cancer? Maybe it'll be able to cure his. Somebody was asking, I'm guessing because I saw a Fugi response. Here is Fugi's tweet about Mr. Medicare. I'll put it in both chats for you. There you go, guys. Yeah, fuck, man. He had a massive heart attack. What else we got? Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. There's better video I want to see there. Well, you know what? We haven't started jumping around yet, so we might as well start doing it now. Might as well get that. I'll forget things that I want to show, but there's two videos related to this. This is in regards to the stuff that the Jack Smith indictment is supposed to be knocking out of the news cycle. We learned some more stuff. We learned some more stuff about what Devin Archer told the Congress yesterday. One of the things that we found out is that when all of these weird business dealings were going on, Hunter told Archer, go out and buy a burner phone. You know, because that's what you do with legitimate business. The first thing you do is go out and buy a fucking burner phone. Now, you might ask, well, how is a rich gentleman like Hunter Biden know anything about burner phones? That sounds like something drug dealers would know about. Yeah, you can stop right there. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Best response to a content thief was after Hassan reacted to a I don't know how to say Exy, I think, video, aka Hassan's empty chair. Jay did a stream to react to Hassan's reaction, started Hassan's video, then says, I got to take a shit, and leaves for 20 minutes. The video's still playing. Nice. Very, very nice. Anyway, so this guy is going to tell us about what the phone conversations are about.
Interesting about the Biden thing. The Republicans, it's just this internal primal urge to visit retribution on the Democrats. And the problem is they can't find a fact. So look, is there problematic questions about Hunter Biden? And I said something that shouldn't be controversial, which is that if you committed a crime, you should be held accountable. But have they pointed to anything to suggest that Joe Biden engaged in corrupt behavior? No. And
okay, I just want to point out that the media and the Democrats, before Trump was ever sworn into office, before he'd ever won the election, said that if he got elected, he should be impeached because he made a joke about Russians finding Hillary's emails. Y'all remember that? He made a joke about Russians finding Hillary's emails for him because he'd been beating the Hillary's email drum for quite some time. And they were all like, oh my God, he's trying to engage the Russians in his campaign. Y'all remember that? And that leads to, well, what eventually becomes 3 years of bullshit about Russian interference and collusion. These people being shown that Joseph Biden was making phone calls for his son on business dealings that had to do with foreign nations as he was the vice president of the United States. They can't find a single hint of a fucking crime. Nothing at all. I know, it's weird. I know.
And on the contrary, Hunter Biden's business partner said, yeah, he was on some phone calls talking about the weather, exchanging pleasantries. You know, is that in the category of, presidential family members that are problematic? Billy Carter, Hugh.
Yes, it is, because he got his dad on the phone to show what a big shot he is and what access he had to him and could provide to them. That's why. It's just the weather, you guys. It's just the weather. They were just talking about the weather. Notice he didn't mention that illusion of access. He didn't mention that at all, which you would think would be important in that discussion. Apparently, you'd be wrong, but you'd think the illusion of access would come up when you're talking about all he talked about was the fucking weather. And that leads us to our second video in this vein. This is sorry. I've already started laughing because it's fucking ridiculous. This is a supercut of people talking about the phone call. On the left here, we got Anderson Cooper. On the right, we have Representative Dan Goldman. Dan Goldman has been one of the ones out front going, "There's nothing to see here." I don't know what kind of dirt they have on him. Looking at him, I'm guessing there's an underage girl involved, but it could be a boy.
Joe Biden did nothing, not even approximating improper, much less wrong or illegal.
It's wishful thinking. They're trying to create a scandal.
I think it's pretty clear, at least so far. There is no.
Again, these are people who got upset that Trump made a goddamn joke and said he should be impeached before he was ever elected. Throwing that out there.
Nothing there.
House Republicans continue their search for any proof at all tying President Joe Biden to his son Hunter's business dealings.
Joe Biden.
Any proof at all. Any proof at all. Just can't find none of it. I mean, the illusion of access. I never talked to Hunter about his business. I mean, I never engaged in business. I don't know who Hunter is. Maybe this will lead them to finally tell us that Biden has dementia. They'll be like, see, he can't remember any of it.
Biden had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings.
Because they want to dirty up Biden's name.
You know, Republicans.
I got to stop there. Sorry, Van Jones. Nobody has to dirty up Biden's name. You just have to know about Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden, and I'm not making this up. You guys can go look it up. Joe Biden is I think he might still be the youngest senator ever elected. He was, at least at the time of his election. And so he goes on to a television show. I want to say it was on CBS. I forget which, and gives this interview where he basically says, "Don't trust me. I could be corrupt." I am barely paraphrasing. Seriously, barely paraphrasing. He goes into this whole thing about, you can't trust me because I could be. That's exactly what he says, Faithless. You shouldn't trust me. This is his first interview as he's going into Congress. And he thinks that what he should be doing is saying, yeah, I'm probably corrupt. And there's nothing to see here, guys. Nothing to see here.
Have been trying to use Hunter Biden's behavior against the president.
Wrong. They're not trying to use Hunter Biden's behavior against the president. They are pointing out that Biden's behavior is tied to his son's behavior because they went together, shitbag.
Did not know about anything that Hunter Biden was doing.
Tina Biden was simply involved in his son's life in a personal capacity. Republicans from consistently trying to make this argument and create the illusion of some.
Oh, it's that illusion stuff again.
Malfeasance being.
I don't know who she is, but she's cute enough. I'd think she was this dumb.
There.
Spoke to business associates of Hunter Biden to say hello, to have small talk, casual conversation.
Hunter Biden.
You see how they're downplaying the illusion of access? They're not bringing any of that up. Not yet. They might later, but this goes someplace you're probably not even going to guess if you haven't seen this already. But they just had the small talk. They were just talking about the weather. They don't bring up that whole, well, what's that whole illusion of access? And remember, he changes it at the beginning of the hearing or the deposition. I'm not sure which it was officially. I think it was officially a hearing. But it goes from the illusion of access to Joe Biden to, I mean, it was the illusion of access to Washington, D.C. Yeah, that's who they called. These guys who got on these phone calls with Joe Biden, when they needed something later, they didn't call Joe Biden. They dialed 1-800 Washington, D.C. and talked to the entire fucking city. All of the movers and shakers. That's who they got on the phone. No, wait. It was Joe Biden.
Biden talked to his dad on the phone all the time. They talked basically every day. Sometimes Joe Biden would say hello to the people in the room if he popped in or on the phone or whatever.
Saw casual.
Wait. Back that up. We'll get back to you, Dan, in a minute, you fucking asshole. This wasn't him casually popping into the room. This was specifically calling Joe to specifically have Joe talk to these people. God, these guys are fucking assholes.
Conversation, niceties, the weather.
They never discussed the business. These were more of just cordial hello types of conversations.
Okay, let's go with that for a minute, because you guys are really, really beating this drum. Don't worry, they change it here in just a second. It's just these casual conversations, right? How come all of the times that Joe Biden was asked about what kind of business dealings he had, he never once, not one goddamn time, said, I spoke to a couple of those guys. We had some niceties, but it was never business related. What he said is, I never talked to my son about business. How come that difference? How come? Oh, that's because that first answer would have immediately raised fucking eyebrows, as it should right now. But anyway, we're getting to the fun part of this.
Business was never discussed on those calls, and that was more casual sort of check-ins, casual conversations.
Who dressed you? That is ugly as fuck. Whoever made that should be slapped. And it really does not fit your body, sweetheart. That is ugly. I'm sorry. This is one of my pet peeves. Our local weather girl wears the ugliest shit. She's a little bit of a bigger girl. Jack would say she's like really, really, really fat, but she's a little bit bigger, not like obese. And she wears the ugliest goddamn things. She would wear this. And it drives me nuts. You're on television. What are you, British? Stop it.
President Biden might have said, hey, quit putting me on speakerphone. Are you having a business meeting? Like what?
Again, I'm sorry to stop this. I need to be a reactor and just let this shit play. It's not that Joe was just suddenly put on speakerphone. They were specifically getting Joe on the phone for him. And there's no evidence, none, zero zilch, that Joe Biden said fuck all about it. That he in any way said, hey, Hunter, could you knock this shit off? This is this motherfucker making it up in his head. Yeah, you know what? Joe might have also been pissing the whole time. I mean, probably was in his diaper, but he might have been falling down the stairs as he did it. He might have been parachuting. He might have been a lot of things that he clearly wasn't fucking doing, you asshole. And then they talk about mis and disinformation, malinformation. You just made shit up and went, this is what could have been happening. Could have been happening.
What is that about? But do you hang up on your phone, on your side?
You absolutely do. If your son is putting you in a compromising instance like that, you 100% go, Hunter, this is not appropriate, and hang up the fucking phone.
Biden, Hunter's brother and President Biden's son, was very ill with cancer and then passed away. That, as the witness today testified, was what these conversations and these calls were about.
Wait a minute. You told us a little bit ago it was about pleasantries. Now it's about about Biden's dead son, the only one he actually cares about. So let me get this straight. Hunter Biden is talking to his business partners, and he says, oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me get my dad on the phone so you can talk to him about my dead brother. Anybody believing that? Because if you do, I have so many bridges. They're like backlogged right now. Not backlogged, backed up. Backlog, waterlogged. I don't know what the fucking word is.
We should put this in context. This is a time when Beau Biden, the president's other son, was ill and then dying and then passed away.
Very fraught and sad time for the Biden family, and we know how important family is to the president.
Except little Navy, right? All right, you guys can't pull the Biden cares about family shit anymore. You can't, because of Hunter's bastard daughter, who Joe Biden has so far acknowledged once, and only because he kept getting shit about it. But yeah, oh, look, you guys shouldn't be looking at, look, it was just him talking about his dead kid. How fucked up are you guys to be looking at him talking about his dead kid? Don't you guys have any kind of decency?
They're doing Donald Trump's bidding, going after Hunter Biden, trying to create a tie to the president.
This is a political move here. It is a politics thing, right?
They never saw the politics thing when they were coming after Trump. You guys notice that? In any of the shit they came at, it was never about the politics, ever. The story keeps changing, yeah, and you'll notice it's from some of the same people. It's not even different people.
Right, in as much as it's anything else. Fair?
Yeah, I think so. There does not appear to have been a direct business tie.
Because right now you don't see any conduct that's illegal, that there is regulation or law that's prohibiting it, even though it might be highly unethical.
I don't see high crimes and misdemeanors. I don't even see a low crime. I see a son.
Influence peddling is a crime, sir.
Who's using his father.
People with famous last names, using them for their own purposes. People in your families, they're ne'er-do-wells. This is as old as time.
Yes, influence peddling is as old as time. I will give him that. I'll give him that. But yeah, when I got to the part where they're blaming it on Hunter Biden, on Beau Biden dying, I thought, you got to be shitting me. They were just talking about Joe having a son that died. Because that's what you do with a stranger you don't know. You call him up and you go, yeah, look, I don't know you from Adam. You don't know me from Adam. We've never met. I'm trying to do a business deal with your son here. And I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry your other son died. And then you have 20-minute conversations about the dead guy that you didn't know. Fuck off. Oh my God. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not stupid enough to believe that. I'm sorry. I wish I was. I bet it is such a blissful existence. But fuck right off, man. No, it was just the weather. It goes from being the fucking weather to his dead son. Those are two entirely different conversations. It was just light and airy. I've had many conversations about dead relatives. They don't tend to be light and airy. They don't tend to be like weather talk. Now, how's the dead son today? Oh, not too bad. Thanks for asking. How's your dead kid? Oh, pretty good. I'm we're gonna probably throw a flower on it or two tomorrow, but otherwise pretty good. Yeah. Kind of nonsense are they fucking talking about? Jesus fucking Christ. Oh. I mean, I kind of want to talk about this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. All right. The Trump and DeSantis campaigns are pissing me off. They really, really are. I don't care which side you support, okay? Really don't. Support who you want to support. For whatever reason you want to support him. You can support him because DeSantis wore a gray tie the other day when he really should have probably wore a red one. You can support Trump because he's got spray tan in his hair. I don't give a fuck why you support him. But both sides need to stop fucking lying. Stop fucking lying. Especially about each other. One of you two is likely going to be the party nominee. One of you two is going to be representing the Republicans as my dead son's in the fridge. I don't know why when I was reading that, I heard in my head, I love my dead gay son. One of the best lines ever written in cinema. It's from the movie Heathers, if you haven't seen it. Anyway, one of you, Trump or DeSantis, is likely to be the nominee. And you guys going after each other and destroying each other with lies is Democrat bullshit, okay? You don't have to tell lies. You can be like, that guy's an asshole. And everybody goes, yeah, probably. You can point to real things that were done. In fact, in this example we're going to look at, this is from the DeSantis campaign. There was another one today from the Trump campaign. I don't remember what it was. Oh, yes, I do. It was somebody arguing that Trump did not say that Cuomo did a better job than DeSantis with coronavirus. Quite literally, he did. There's a post. He literally did. But gotta lie. I know DeSantis is spreading lies. That wasn't spreading lies there. But here, Max Alago, who, as far as I know, has still not been completely outed who he is, but it is thought that he works for the DeSantis campaign. He says this video: President Trump demands the closing of beaches and restaurants. Now, you can go after Trump for his response to COVID. There's lots of reasons you can go after him. But what you shouldn't be doing is lying about what those reasons are. And in this case, this is him saying Trump demands the beaches be closed.
Well, I think my earlier comments are to be calm. I mean, I do want people to be calm because we're going to win this and we're going to win it. It's just a question of time.
Okay, so
and I wanted to go quickly. So based on the fact that I wanted to go quickly, I hope they just listen to what we've been saying over the last period of time. We don't want them gathering. And I see they do gather, including on beaches and including in restaurants, young people. They don't realize that they're feeling invincible. I don't know if you felt invincible when you were very young, but they were feeling totally invincible or are feeling that way, but they don't realize that they can be carrying lots of bad things home to grandmother and grandfather and even their parents. So we want them to heed the advice. We mean the advice, and I think it's getting through. I do believe it's getting through.
Did you guys hear a demand there? Because maybe I heard it wrong. We hope that they follow our advice is what I fucking heard. There's no demand. You know what? You can even go. He was giving this advice, which was stupid, if you believe it was, which frankly I do. Hey, he was giving bad advice about how you need to stay inside instead of being at the beach. But there was nothing in there even close to a demand. Why fucking lie about that? Oh my fucking God. Is it too much? Too much to ask people not to lie? I mean, I guess it is, especially in politics. I should know better. I've followed politics for a long time. But goddamn, I seriously can't take this shit anymore. I'm tired of it. I don't care which side. And today I got accused of being both a DeSantis and a Trump supporter. So guess I'm voting twice like a Democrat too. Pointing out that somebody's lying doesn't mean that I support the other person. It just points out that somebody's fucking lying. And that was a clear lie. There was no demand there. That's not even hyperbole. That is just a flat out fucking lie. Do not like liars. Snubber, thank you. Abe Antifa, good luck with getting a job as pencil pushers and some trans women's influencer staff for half the pay. Also, DSP outlasted Anita Sarkeesian. I don't know who Abe or Ava, I'm not sure how you say that, Anita is. Oh, do you mean Anita Sarkeesian? I said Antifa, Anita. Yeah, we'll get to Anita Sarkeesian. She's coming up in the queue. Don't worry, she's on the list. Next up, I do want to talk about this just briefly. I haven't looked deeply into it. I saw a headline and then I saw a video today, but there was a coup in Nigeria. And the reason you should care about that is that Nigeria has the world's largest uranium deposit. And up until 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago now, the ruling body there was backed by the U.S. and the French, mostly the French. The people who overthrew the Nigerian government, they're waving Russian flags in the streets. I don't know what else to do with that other than to point that out and be like, there's some This Russian-backed coup with France. As far as I know, the Russians aren't directly involved with this other than with some propaganda being flown around out there. They got their hands busy right now. Thank you, Cryptic, who says coup to China. Now, that would make a lot more sense. China's got a little more freedom right now than the Russians do. But yeah, they're waving fucking Russian flags in the streets. Folks who have the largest uranium deposit on the planet. Anyhow, moving right along, this one is... I'm not going to lie, I laughed my ass off when I read this. This is from page 6. Lizzo, everybody's favorite pop artist, God bless. Lizzo forced dancers to eat bananas from sex workers' vaginas during Amsterdam trip. Bombshell lawsuit. I'm going to throw this in the chat because we're not going to read the whole thing. But if you guys want to read up on it, here's the teal deer on it. They were over there doing a concert tour. She decides to take her folks to the red light district. They get inside this one brothel area, and she encourages these girls to do some sexy stuff with the sex workers there, including eating a banana. Now, that says eating it out of the vagina. The way it's described later in the article, it's more like licking on it with it being in the vagina. I wasn't there. I'm not sure which way it actually happened. But if I'm being honest, my thought was at least it wasn't out of Lizzo's vagina, because she got to have like big old fat rolls inside that thing. It probably smells like hell. But then apparently there was another sex party, and these girls were forced to do it. And there's also a claim that the one girl, she was afraid to go to the bathroom during a rehearsal because she thought she'd get yelled at, so she just soiled herself. They use the word soiled. I don't know what that meant exactly. I don't want to know. But Lizzo's apparently not just a big, nasty fat girl. She's a nasty, nasty fat girl. You know, back in the day, fat girls would do all the dirty shit that, other girls wouldn't. They had to make up for not being attractive somehow. But now the skinny chicks are just as skanky as the fat chicks, or the fat chicks will just up their game, I guess. That's so nasty. Look, get sex work, all that. As long as everybody's an adult, I don't give a shit. Okay. But you should never put your mouth on a hooker's vagina, ever. Shouldn't come close to it, ever. You don't put your mouth on any of their orifices. Period. End of story. You're going to catch something. That's not going to be a pube in your teeth. That's going to be crabs. That's going to be herpes seeping through your teeth. Keep your mouth away from hookers. All right? You're welcome. But they wash. I don't want to hear it. Do not want to hear it. Black-owned businesses in George Floyd Square say they are in desperate need of help from the police. Businesses are struggling to stay open due to rampant crime. I should not laugh at that. Black-owned businesses in George Floyd Square say they are. There's an irony here. Although I don't know if it's even ironic. It's more expected, right? It's not ironic if it's what you expect to happen. I guess it's just hilarious. Cryptic, thank you. A Japanese woman cut banana slices with her bottom. I saw it live when I was 19. I know it can happen. She also gave change in yen. I'm a Navy brat. I've heard about the chicks who can give change. I heard about one who could make quarters appear at will. So I understand that part. I never heard about the banana slices before. Anybody shocked that George Floyd Square needs police help? Fuck me. This is where Captain Obvious needs to go and be like, I'm here. This is what we expected to happen, because why wouldn't it, for fuck's sake? Here's another one from the just to even things out from the, me picking on the DeSantis folk. This is one of Trump's surrogates, and this is actually listed in his, we don't have to guess. Senior advisor to President Donald J. Trump for president, 2016, 2020, and 2024. And this guy says the Orlando Magic gave $50,000 to Never Back Down, the super PAC carrying Ron DeSantis' campaign for president. And this Trump-backed motherfucker says this: I wonder what Magic players will have to say about their team giving $50K to Ron DeSanctimonious' PAC, given his new Florida history curriculum. Cryptic, thank you. Oh, and she shoves snakes up there too. Yeah, I've heard about those girls too. Thank you so much for the donations, my friend. This is Donald Trump, or at least somebody associated with his campaign, going full-on lefty bullshit liberal, jumping onto the Kamala Harris train here. To the, look what they said, slavery is good. They said slavery is good. I've been warning for a while, because I've seen conservatives for a while saying, we got to do what the left does. This is why I warned against it. You can't only partially become a shithead. And this is shithead behavior. If this was my campaign and this guy worked for me and said that, I'd fire his ass. Why are you doing what they do? There's plenty to attack him for. Without going full on lefty. Oh, Hannah, we got to talk about this silly bitch. We got 2 from Hannah Cox today. That name. Fucking love it. All right. We're going to start with Zuby, though, because that's where it all starts. Zuby starts everything. Zuby, in response to this, is political identities of 12th grade boys. And it shows that the vast majority of them that gave an identification were conservative compared to liberal in 2025, or where it's expected to go in 2025. Where we're at right now, right about there, they're very, very conservative. And then you switch over to the girl chart, and by an even much bigger margin, the 12th grade girls identify as liberal, 30%, compared to conservatives at about 12 maybe. That's before they go to college. True. And that's when the boys all sell out their beliefs so they can try to get some ass. But these are the 2 charts that he's responding to. And he says this: I predict more American men seeking foreign brides in the future. Get your passports, bros. And Miss Hannah Cox here had something to say about it. These men are in for a rude awakening when they find out other cultures still expect men to fully provide for their daughters. What? He ain't say fuck all about not providing for your wife. Not a damn thing. All right, let's go to number 2. It's not a flex to advertise your inability to find a partner in your own country. Again, he didn't say you couldn't find one. He said you're going to go elsewhere because the ones here suck. And number 3, sourcing wives from desperate third world countries so you can control them financially is creepy, and I really don't know how it's not considered trafficking. Let's go back for a second. Wait, wrong way. That way. I predict more American men seeking foreign brides. Now, I don't remember the exact number, but I know it's like 190 some other countries in the world. 190 plus other countries. Not all of them are third world countries. They're not. They're just not. But it's funny how that's what she jumps to. Oh, they're going to go get some third world bride. They're going to Haiti. That's not even close to what he said. But this isn't the only dumb thing Hannah said today. This was her other one, also in response to Zuby. Zuby says, men rarely get mad at the fact women prefer taller men. Why do women get mad at the fact that men prefer younger women? After all, every woman experiences being young, but most men never experience being tall. I don't think he's making a good point there. I really don't. They're different things. I mean, I guess you could point to them and say they're both aesthetic. But like with a taller man, it might make a woman feel more secure. He might be a better hunter. He might be a better protector kind of thing. And maybe you could go, well, she's prettier. She'll make better children. I don't fucking know. I just don't think it's all that interesting of a point. But Hannah can't say anything like that because Hannah's retarded, apparently. I don't know why I follow Hannah. I could not tell you. I don't remember why I started following this bitch. But apparently I do. And so I got to read this. Because there's nothing predatory or underdeveloped about wanting a man to be taller than you. It's just a societal conditioning. Stop. I got to stop you already. It's not societal conditioning. It's what's most likely to happen. Women are smaller than men. You guys are. I don't know if you know that. The average height of a woman is what, like 5'6" or 5'5" last I saw, maybe 5'7". Average guy is 5'8" to 5'10". We're just taller. It's just biological, sweetheart. Doesn't mean everybody, but typically you're going to be looking at a taller man. So, yeah. Anyway, it's societal conditioning because women want to feel smaller than their partner. Wait for it. Men who like/prefer younger women, no matter what their own age, do so because they're attracted to little girls and or want someone dumb that they can control. This one actually isn't hard. You should want a partner you can grow old with. If the aging process turns you off, you're not mentally processing as you should be. That's right, gentlemen. If you like a younger, fresher face, I want to point out, we're talking about women here. Nobody said girls. It's all about 18 plus. No matter the age, 18 plus. If you like a younger woman, you're just a pedophile. You're a wannabe pedophile. It's not that they don't have wrinkles. It's not that their breasts aren't saggy. It's not that, look, women age and men like pretty things. We're very visual creatures. It's not that. No. We just want to bang kids and control women. What the fuck is wrong with people? A younger woman has more time to have children. That is true, Evolve Potato. But my first thought went to this. What about a 50-year-old who marries a 30-year-old? Are you marrying a 30-year-old because you just want to have sex with a kid? Or you just want to control her? Because 30-year-olds are just stupid little women's. They're easily controlled more than a decade after adulthood. I thought this shit had died out. I really did. I thought this kind of stupid feminist crap was gone. I should have known better. I should have. It always seeps out. It always comes back. Hannah here, and I'm just guessing, I don't know how old Hannah Cox is, but by looking at her, I'm just guessing she's starting to get worried. She's starting to get worried about men not finding her old ass attractive anymore. She's not that old from what I can tell. But yeah, why is it always that? Why can't it just be, hey, men like a fresher face? Not a child, Because frankly, I still I don't see a big difference from 18 to about 25, if I'm being honest. They all look like they're 18 to me. Yeah, they all look pretty fucking young. But are you really suggesting that somebody who's dating a 25-year-old, say a 35-year-old, 35-year-old dating a 25-year-old, that's a considerably younger woman. He just wants to bang kids, or he just wants to control her? Do you realize the agency this removes from women? That, oh yeah, that older man, he just wants to tell me how I need to live my life. Damn, I wish I was smarter. I don't understand this kind of thinking other than it being bitter old woman syndrome. Because we see this a lot. This is one of the tropes in movies when they want to make a guy a bad guy. What do? They have him leave his wife for a younger woman. It's never for a smarter woman. It's never for a harder working woman. It's never for a woman who actually likes him more and treats him well. It's for a younger woman. That's how you make him a bad guy. He went for that younger chick. Fucking asshole. I hope he gets shot in the face. In movies, that's what I'm talking about, YouTube. I specifically said in movies. But you're supposed to hate that person because they left her for a younger woman. It's never a nicer woman. They never say that, right? Or it is, though, it'll be some bimbo. It's always some dumb bimbo who doesn't really understand the world. And the guy eventually, if he gets a redemption arc, it's because he realizes how empty that beautiful young woman is, that he has to tell how to do everything because she's just so stupid. It's never, he hooks up with a lawyer. It's never that he hooks up with anybody worth a shit. And the only redemption he can get is to go back to the bitter old bitch. Left her for a richer woman. There you go. What about monetary? Maybe he's tired of being broke. And she's spending all his money. I know a guy that had that happen. Their family made more than us and had less children and were in poverty because that bitch spent every dime he ever made. Often before he made it. I could have seen him leaving his wife. She ended up leaving him, actually. But I could have seen him going, yeah, no. That chick knows how to balance a checkbook. Ebony, thank you. Sounds like backhanded misogyny. Do you mean misandry? Because misogyny is men being rude to women, for lack of a better term, or better definition at the moment. Misandry is female superiority. Feminists today are the same as the ones in the 60s, angry and bitter. I would argue that the ones in the 60s at least had a little bit more of a point. A little bit more of a point. Not as much as they took it, not as far as they took it, but a little bit more. These girls today, they just whine about everything. The wife spending all the money has been a trend forever. Well, the wives generally do spend all the money. What is it? The stat is something like 80% of household income is spent by women. But there's a difference between paying the bills and buying the groceries and making sure you got nice stuff in the house. And the bitch literally goes after every get-rich-quick scheme she ever heard of. And I mean that seriously. That chick had a new, this is how we're going to get rich scheme it's probably about every 3 months. And every one of them cost them a shit ton of money. I used to tell them, like, you need to fucking take her off the bank account, dude. Anyhow, yeah, so there we go. This feminism is alive and well, in case you guys were wondering. All right, this next time, we haven't laughed at the Krasensteins in a few days, and well, we need to. So Project Veritas released a video today. It's not very important. It's just Ashley, Hunter's sister, Ashley Biden, calling the place where she left her diary and being like, I need to get my stuff back. Where can my husband come get it? I don't want to get the Secret Service involved here. Hey, there's not much to the conversation. I mean, her threatening to get the Secret Service involved is kind of fucked up. But otherwise, it just, we already knew that she left the shit there and that she supposedly was getting it back. But anyway, Ed Krasenstein had this to say. Breaking. Project Veritas has reportedly released this recording, allegedly of Ashley Biden threatening to get the Secret Service involved if her stolen stuff wasn't returned to her. Her stuff wasn't stolen. She left it. Many people are making the claim that her diary talks about Joe Biden sexually assaulting her. No, this is not true. Specifically, her diary states, keep this in mind. Specifically, her diary states, if it is really her own words, well, Ed, is it her stolen stuff or is it not her words? What's going on there? I need some help. I need some help with that. How are you going to, it's her stolen stuff, but it can't both be not her stolen stuff and not what she said. I mean, it can't be her stolen stuff and not what she said. Because the whole point is that this came from her fucking diary. Either it's fake or it's not. Those are your only two choices, homie. That's it. But anyway, if it was really her own words, she said, I remember having sex with friends at a young age, showers with my dad. This is not sexual assault. She never alleged sexual assault. She appears to have alleged showering with her father at a young age. That's actually not what she said, but how young? We don't know. She could have been 2, 3, or 4 years old at the time. Chances are probably not, because the human memory doesn't really go back to 2 and 3 for 99.999% of people. How young? We don't know. She could have been 2, 3, or 4 at the time. Most pediatricians and child psychologists recommend that fathers should stop showering with their daughters somewhere around 4 to 8 years old. If your psychologist is recommending that it's okay for your husband to be taking showers with your 7-year-old daughter, get a new therapist. Anyhow, then he says thoughts. So here's my thoughts. The Krasensteins wave their dicks around children. That's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Because just like his brother Ed, this is basically, it's not a big deal to wave your dick around kids thing. But there's a hint here. A couple of hints about what might have actually happened. First of all, Ed lies. Okay? Because this here, he says, I remember having sex with my friends at a young age, showers with my dad. That is a direct quote. Partially. It's a direct quote, but he cuts off the end. The end of the quote says, I remember having sex with my friends at a young age, showers with my dad, and then probably not appropriate. Now, does that mean sexual assault? No, not at all. Doesn't mean Joe tucked away he shouldn't have been. It is weird. And it's telling that you cut that part off. Very telling that you cut that off there, Ed. Like I think should probably be done with your dick with some of the statements you and your brother have been making before you misuse that thing. But her own words was probably inappropriate. Now, there's another clue we have here. She says, I remember having sex with my friends at a young age. Okay. How young? How young do you think she could have been having sex with her friends? Physically. Now, that doesn't mean puberty. Look, with the crowd her father hangs out with, who knows how old they actually were. But let's go with his 8-year-old there. 8 years old. Maybe. One of her 10-year-old friends, probably her brother, stuck it in her. All right, maybe. Maybe that could have happened. But she's probably not talking about, I remember having sex with my friends at a young age, Oh, and then showers with my dad at a much younger age that was more appropriate, even though I then go on to say it was inappropriate. You fucking asshole. Jesus Christ. The fuck is wrong with these people? There's hints there, Eddie. And I know you saw the whole quote because there's no fucking way you only found that part of the quote somewhere. And then to go on and be like, look, psychologists say it's all right to have your dick out in front of your daughter until you're about 8, until they're 8. No, it's really not. By the time that they are recognizing that there's a difference between the sexes, you should not be showering with them. Now, you still have to give them baths and stuff, make sure they're safe and stuff. But there's a difference between being in the bathroom while they take a bath and making sure they don't fall under the water or anything. And, standing above them with your dick over their head. You fucking nasty bastard. Oh, the Krasensteins. I'm telling you, America's Most Wanted. They're coming to it. They are way too okay with children being around penises. All right, don't care about that one. All right, this is the one that was hinted to earlier. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We might have the end of Gamergate finally. Nah, we don't. But Anita Sarkeesian is shutting down feminist frequency after 15 years. All right, before we get down. Oh, damn, it's on the screen. You can see it. There we go. Do you guys know why? Do you know why they're shutting it down? Take a guess. It's not because of lack of funding, at least according to them. I'll let you know that. Why does she have to close down feminist frequency? We were talking about representation very early on in a mainstream way. Yes, and it was stupid then, Anita. It was stupid then. Yes, she is a con artist. This fucking bitch robbed people. It might be lack of funding, but that is not what they're saying. No, you guys. Anita Sarkeesian is tired. It's been more than 10 years since Anita Sarkeesian first released Tropes versus Women in Video Games on YouTube. It's been 15 years since Sarkeesian's oldest video and start of what is now known as feminist frequency. Over the years, she and her team created several groundbreaking... I'm sorry, I can't read that without laughing. Several groundbreaking YouTube series, hundreds of podcast episodes that nobody watched or listened to, done with dozens of collaborators, a game industry-focused support hotline, and a Peabody Award-winning nonprofit organization. It's the sort of work that's both essential and draining. All right, stop right there. All right. Anita Sarkeesian doesn't have to be the one running feminist frequency. All right. But it is her grift, and she's not going to let anybody else have it. What she could do, saying, is pass the, this isn't essential work. It's essential. You guys know what essential means, right? Required. Has to be. This is essential work. She's just so tired. She's so tired that nobody else can do it. That's how, I don't know if you guys realize just how amazing Anita Sarkeesian is. What she gave to this world. She gave us, well, a bunch of nonsense and a really weird video where she was trying to look at Batman's ass. But that's essential work. Well, if it's so essential, why not pass it on to the next? Tons of people start businesses and nonprofits, and eventually they're like, I'm done here. And what they do is they shut it down and never, no. What they usually do is a successor is named. That's it. Work that's so meaningful, it's easy to feel an obligation to continue, even in the face of exhaustion. That's why it's time for a break. Quote, I'm ending feminist frequency because I'm extremely burnt out. I can't vacation that off. I can't offload that anymore. Yeah. You're doing it because nobody's paying attention to you anymore, and you got to find a new grift. Let's be honest. Sarkeesian's work made feminist critiques of the video game industry impossible to ignore. No, sweetheart, no. And developers listened. Yes, that part is true, unfortunately. They listened to a woman who said, I didn't play video games growing up. And then when she decided that she had to get some street cred, I grew up playing video games. She said both of those things. They both can't be true. Where are we? And developers listened. Yes, the video game industry has a long way to go. Not everyone listened. But Feminist Frequency's criticism helped bring the language of feminism to a space that was often ignorant to it. No, gamers knew that shit. They just ignored it because it was fucking stupid and they didn't want it in their place. They didn't want it in their spaces, in their safe video game space with Batman's ass. Though Feminist Frequency started on YouTube, it grew into an organization that made a tangible impact on it did. Can't deny that. A tangible impact on the industry. She doesn't say a good impact on the industry. A tangible one. It is true. On the industry through its work with studios and developers. Though some Feminist Frequency initiatives like Programs Manager Jay Lynn's accountability group Respec will live on in different ways, the organization as a whole will disband at the end of the year. How much you want to bet? How much you guys want to bet that that Anita's going to come back and go, I've heard, look, I took a little time off. I was able to rest. And I've heard from people how important this work is. So I'm going to get back to it. That'll only happen if she gets enough of a financial incentive to do it. Where are we? The Games and Online Harassment Hotline, which the team spun up in 2019 as the industry reckoned with systemic racism and harassment, will run through the end of September. I need to call them. Does anybody have the Games and Online Harassment Hotline? I want to call and tell them about this video where this really weirdo is trying to look at a character's butt and make everybody else look at it. It's not the first time Sarkeesian has considered shutting down Feminist Frequency. She found it had reached its natural conclusion several times before. So she's stupid? I mean, we knew that, but there was always something new pulling her and the team back into it. But this time it's sticking. Beyond needing to rest and recover from the burnout, Sarkeesian deeply believes that there's value to ending projects naturally. But not the other times that it had reached its natural conclusion. There doesn't need to be some catastrophic ending. I don't think we'll talk about that enough, she said. You built this whole thing, and why would you give it up? But sometimes it's actually better that we move on to new things, to take risks, and do things that challenge us. Yeah, I don't care about the rest of this shit. Anita's stepping down, you guys, because she's burned out, and she's got a new grift on the horizon. And if that falls through, she'll be back. This will be another one of those times that it pulled her back. Every time she thinks she's out, her vagina pulls her back in. Because she got a vagina that pulls you back in. Anita Sarkeesian is a horrible fucking person. She is a liar. She's a grifter. She's been horrible for the video game industry. She's gotten a lot of men accused of shit that they didn't even do. Not as much as somebody like Zoe Quinn, but we're talking more executives and boardroom stuff where like, oh, you weren't feminist enough. She's a bad person. I don't say that very often, but she's a bad person, and she knows what she's doing. The fact that the industry gave her so much clout is depressing to me. I realize you want female gamers, but you had female gamers. You had them. And now what we have is worse games with ugly characters. Good job. Now, I don't really care about the aesthetic of the character, if I'm being honest. Most of the time, I don't see my character's face. But it is astounding how video game companies now seem to go out of their way to make their characters ugly. They look like a bad PlayStation 2. Like somebody took a PlayStation 2 polygon face and tried to smooth it out. And that's not a good thing for gaming. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's somebody put a design choice in there like, you know what we really need? An ugly fat girl. That's what this game needs, for representation for ugly fat girls everywhere. Well, the majority of players are men. The majority of players are men and boys. So shouldn't the majority of game characters be men and boys? No. What they need to be is representational. That's how you end up with boobs and a penis in Cyberpunk 2044, 2077, or whatever the name of that game was in Cyberpunk. That's true. You can make a character with boobs and a penis in that game. Which, let me tell you, made the gameplay so much better. Just awesome. Actually, it didn't have any impact on the game. But we needed it. We needed to spend a shit ton of time on representation because reasons that escape me. And that's my biggest problem with that shit. It's not the end result. It's that, one, our games are not delivered the way they should be in a finished manner. I can't remember the last game I got that didn't have a day one patch. That literally, as soon as you put it in, there's a patch because it was not ready to go at ship. And these are games that have fucking lead times for hell, and they get to pick their own fucking date to release it. Hell, half of them are digital only anyway. It's not like they got to worry about distribution. But they all got day one patches because they can't get the shit right. But they're spending time making sure that I can add titties to my male character. They're making sure to get that chick ugly so ugly girls aren't jealous of the fucking girl on the screen. That polygon chick on the screen's prettier than me. And they're wasting development time on that shit instead of making a good product. I'm going to climb down off of my my soapbox. I don't mean to go into the video game stuff. I really should do that more on the game channel. But in all honesty, it's a waste of resources, and we end up with inferior games as they're running around trying to suck up to people who aren't going to play your goddamn game anyway. You know what's pissing me off, because I already know this is going to happen? Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out. Baldur's Gate 3 launches for real on August 3rd. You can play it right now. It's been in early access for several years, and it's building up some hype. Lots of hype. And I know it's going to happen already. I'm already getting pissed off because it's not an easy game. It's not. This is hard. Even with 5th edition D&D rules, which are a fucking joke, it's still a hard game because it's D&D, and D&D is so RNG dependent. And if you don't build your character just right, you're going to wipe over and over and over again. And I already know what's going to happen. People who are not good at this kind of game, or don't even really like this kind of game, are going to see it's trending. They're going to see, oh, this is the game to go get. And they're going to go out there and they're going to get the game. And they'll be like, this game sucks because I suck at it. And instead of just admitting it's because they suck at it, it'll be something wrong with the game. We'll have to change everything around again. Talbot, thank you so much. I would figure the guy went with the younger gal exactly because he realized how empty she is and thought it might be fun to fill her up. You know, that there's probably some truth to that as well. I'm sure filling her up was part of it. Are there stat requirements to fuck a bear? You know, lots of people are talking about fucking a bear, and I was right. I'm 900% sure I'm right. It's a druid in bear form, which I guess is technically having sex with a bear. But it's a human or whatever class you're going to be. I mean, you can have sex with a green lizard lady. I find that far more disturbing than having sex with a druid. Well, I mean, not in their animal form, but still. Da 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 da. So many people have been talking about that. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Because yeah, it's a druid. I mean, yeah, I guess it's perfectly okay to have sex with a vampire. Yeah, I want to talk about that just for a second because of that story. It's perfectly okay to have sex with vampires in video games. To see it on television and movies and books. That's a dead person. Y'all know that, right? Like, but it's having sex with a bear. Yeah, in the still frame that everybody's sharing around about having sex with a bear. Do you know what the other character is? I don't mean to spoil it for people who haven't played early access. It's a vampire. Hey, don't have sex with that bear. But hey, the bear having sex with the dead guy. I mean, that's all right. That's okay. Undead person. Kiss my ass. That's a dead person. We all know it. Finally tonight, after a New York Times report, the FBI investigated who had paid for a spy tool for use by the U.S. government. The FBI found out it was the FBI. So New York Times does this investigative story to find out, hey, who paid for this thing? And so the FBI gets involved and go, yeah, who paid for this spying tool? It was them. Necrophilia versus bestiality. Yeah, I think it's funny that, I mean, you guys, even if you haven't seen Twilight, you know what the Twilight story is about, right? It's about that fucking vapid bitch having sex with a vampire, a dead guy. And that was romantic, y'all. That was just romance. But don't put it in a live thing that can turn itself into a bear and a wolf or... Oh, what a world we live in. What a world. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up here. I hope Jack's okay. I don't know where he's at tonight. Sorry. Yeah, pedo vampire. Don't forget she was underage when they were hooking up and he was like 100 years old. Hopefully Jack's okay and we'll be back for the next show. I am going to do my best to get a game stream done. I haven't done one in the last couple of nights. Sorry, guys. My spine has been telling me to go fuck myself. And it's really hard to argue with your own spine. And not the spinal cord, not that. The actual bones in the middle of my spine have just been hurting. And there's nothing you can do to fix that. There's no good way to lay. There's no heat you can put on it or cold that you can put on it to make it feel. Nah, you just got to deal with it. Lady Monkey's been asking me the last couple of days, are you okay? I'm like, no. And she gives me the sad look because my wife is very kind, very, very kind. And I just look at her like, baby, it'll pass. It just sucks right now. And you know what, guys, that happens a lot in life. I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up, but sure, let's end on this. My mother died 34 years ago today. I woke up somewhere early in the morning and was told that we were going to the hospital to see my mom because it was going to be her last night. She wasn't going to make it. And so we did. We got up, we went, said goodbye to my mom. Then my older brother drove us home. And me and my younger brother went into the living room, laid down on the floor and just watched TV. My older brother went to visit his girlfriend. A couple hours later, I wake up to my neighbor telling me my brother was coming to get me because my mom had passed. And it sucked. Fucking sucked. But it got better. That hole's never been replaced. But pain fades. It doesn't go away. but it fades. And I've got to live a really good life. I've been really blessed with the people who are in my life, despite the people who were taken from me early. And, sometimes the best you can say is, you know what, it sucks now, but it'll get better. And hopefully that's something some of you need to hear right now. It'll get better, I promise. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so, so very kind. I love y'all. I'll be over on Ranting Monkey Games here in just a few minutes. Well, I don't want to say just a few minutes because I'm probably going to go find something to eat. But soonish, probably playing 7 Days to Die unless Bubba Hotep is awake and wants to. Oh, wait. Even if Bubba's not awake, I probably should play some Phasmo. I need to get my weeklies done. Whatever. I'll be over there playing something. That's on Ranting Monkey Games here on YouTube. Take care of yourselves, guys. I love you, and I'll see y'all next time. Monkey knows how to end a show on a really positive vibe. I'm sorry about getting so personal, but I hope you have a good life. Man, that's a horrible song. Let me try something else about my dick. Nah, let's leave it at that. See you guys.